This time looks right. Jeb Bush is going doing interviews. A lot of interviews. He has a book out called Immigration Wars, subtitled Go Home Wetbacks. And he's trying to push this book and trying to push himself as a candidate in 2016.
Oh, my God.
But he's a little out of step with what's going on in Washington, D.C. The GOP, whether they like it or not, when they have to hold their nose and say sign on for immigration reform because they know they just got their tail licked in 2012 because they pissed all over the Hispanics.
Yep.
They realize they can't do that in 2016.
No.
And win. They could do it, but they'll lose again. So now they have to say, well, we got to be for some kind of reform. And Jeb Bush comes out with a book, and here's the quote, folks. This is the quote out of Jeb Bush's brand new book, Immigration Wars, Go Home Wetbacks. And here it is. Those who have violated the law can remain, but cannot obtain the cherished fruits of citizenship. First of all, who talks like that? The cherished fruits of citizenship. Only a Bush. This guy's a bubblehead. You know, his head is too large for his body. He looks like one of those characters in Mardi Gras. You know, the big paper mache heads walking down in front of the, in the parades, you know. This guy thinks he's brilliant. I'm the smart Bush. You had the dumb Bush. Now try the paper mache head smart Bush. I think you'll like it.
You can put as many paper mache heads on him all you want. A bush is a bush is a bush.
So now he's doing these interviews and realizes his book is way out of whack. He tacked real to the right when he was writing this book, and people point out he wrote this book about a year or so ago. And trying to kiss up to the Tea Party because in the past he talked very openly as governor of a pretty heavily Hispanic populated state in Florida. He spoke about immigration reform and a path to citizenship. He was one of the most progressive Republicans talking about immigration reform.
In fact, Jeff, here's a quote from Jeb Bush in an interview he had with Charlie Rose last June. You have to deal with this issue. And I quote, this is from Governor Jeb Bush. You have to deal with this issue. You can't ignore it. So either a path to citizenship, which I would support. Let me emphasize that. And that does put me probably out of the mainstream of most conservatives, or a path to residency of some kind.
Right.
That was his quote to Charlie Rose last June.
Then he wrote this book, and he tacked way to the right because he realizes, you know, to get the nomination in his party, you have to go far right because these are, the Tea Party people are the ones, beating the drum the loudest, and you have to kiss up to them. So he figured, I got to make up for this liberal talk, as they would view it, and now I got to seem really tougher than everybody else. It seemed to work for Mitt. Mitt was the toughest on immigration reform, and he got the nomination. Of course, he lost the general election, but he'll deal with that after he gets the nomination. So now he's doing interviews, and people are asking, hey, what's this flip-flop? It's a flip-flop. What's the change in... And don't you see what's going on in Washington now? Don't you see Rubio and McCain and the Gang of Eight? And how's that jive now, Governor? And now he's flip-flopping and say, well, if you could, assure some kind of way that this won't encourage more illegal immigration, I guess we can have some kind of pathway to something. They want to create a second-class resident. I won't even say citizen, because he won't. No. The cherished fruits he won't give them.
No.
Some kind of second-class individual living here. You're allowed to stay, but you're not like us. You don't quite have the rights of us. If we get tired of you sometime, we could deport you. What is that? We're going to have two types of people in America? We already have different classes economically. But legally, we're going to have different classes of people here?
This is not what our forefathers had in mind. But then again, knowing conservatives, they'll probably say, well, conservative, our forefathers didn't think the Negroes and the Spicks should be citizens anyway.
That's true.
The Negroes were slaves. The coloreds, we owned them. And it's like...
Here is the bubblehead paper mache former governor of Florida, and his wife is Mexican. She was born in Mexico.
That's what I don't get.
She was born in Mexico.
Right, how is that bedroom conversation going right now?
Oh,
tells me he's sleeping on the couch.
He's already telling her, hey, honey, you can pick out some new drape for the White House bedroom. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but
wouldn't you like to be first lady?
That you're going to throw all the other Latinos and Hispanics or anybody else under the bus and make them second-class citizens.
It's truly creepy, isn't it? It's truly creepy.
You're married to a Hispanic